Really excited to have Brian Kuczma on my coach interviews regarding the coaches training program. Brian is the head coach at Wappingers District in New York. He's a Yorktown grad, Hall of Famer from Johns Hopkins, played in the NLL with the Boston Cannons, and really excited to chat with you about this, Brian. If you could you just tell us a little bit about how the coaches training program helped you out and how it maybe impacted your season?
Yeah, it was actually had a huge impact on our season this year. I've been coaching for 22 years now at the high school level. And, I was getting to the point where my coaching was, I think, to me, was getting a little bit stale. And I'm always looking to learn new things, talking to different people, but I wasn't getting kind of what I needed to bring our high school to the next level. And, I stumbled upon the coaches program and then started to work and look at some of the videos. I brought my offensive coach in to also join on, and it made a huge difference just in our pace of practice, what we do, the nuances within an offensive set that I was lacking as a defender. I mean, that's something that I've always struggled with. I felt I had a solid knowledge of the defensive end, but it was lacking that piece. And, it really kind of just brought that level up quickly. And again, it's just the little things that we pick up from the video clips that you put out, the coaches, the Sunday talks, where we get to kind of talk to each other with coaches from around the country, and them bringing in their videos and actually showing similar things that we're doing, and then just getting an idea of how people are tweaking their offenses. And at the defensive end, same thing. I've been running pretty much the same defense that we ran in at Hopkins, with a couple of things added in, but I just needed some new things, and seeing some of the videos from Jerry Byrne through you guys, drill wise, to try and really polish up my defenders, helped us, tremendously. It was a big success. It was one of our best years we've had in the 5 years that I've been at this district team.
Awesome. So tell me about some of the defensive stuff specifically that you added.
Yeah, there's obviously coaches are getting better every year, and they're bringing in new stuff that's coming out from college, and we have to adjust defensively to what some of these offensive guys are bringing out, especially the two-man game. That has obviously been really picking up in the last couple of years. A lot of more kids are playing box, so you're getting more of that Canadian influence into the offense. So, that was a big piece. How do we cover two-man games? And then the invert offense. There's so many different ways that coaches are doing inverts. So there was a couple of videos that came on. I think there was actually a talk with Dom Starja about invert defense, that I watched and started to implement a couple of the things, just, again, little things. Do we zone when they invert? Do we switch early? Things like that. And depending on the offense we were going against, we did both. And I remember this year, it was second or third game of the year, there was a team that had a deadly invert offense, and we didn't think we can cover it well. So we jumped into a zone, actually the zone that Starja went over within his talk, and we helped that team to, I think it was 6 goals. And they were scoring 12, 14, 15 goals a game. So it took them right out of their offense. And that was a, big turning point in our kids also buying into using a zone, because I'm not considered a zone coach. I always my man. And the kids kind of take that same influence that I have, and they don't like playing zone. But this year we played much more zone, and they really bought into it, and it helped us win some games that I don't think we would have won without it.
Awesome. What about so in the coaches training program, you referenced the talks. Those are like the live trainings. Those are the webinars. And there's a lot of them, and they're pretty deep. I mean, they're like, there's a lot of information in those.
Yeah, you definitely have to sit down with a notebook when you're
Yeah,
watching those.
for sure.
And I'll watch them 2-3 times just to get the information out of it, because there's so much in there.
Yeah. And I actually have to go back and watch them. And I did them because I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that. And then you referenced, that we've got the Sunday morning office hours, which is kind of fun. There's also some shorter videos and a lot of drill videos. Were you able to sort of look at any of the skill videos and the drill videos to help you on some shorter stuff? You don't have 90
absolutely. Our first, I would say, in a 2-hour practice, our first 80 minutes are those drills. I mean, we pulled out a lot of the stick work drills, working on pull passing, reverse pull passing, a lot of the 2-man game stuff that we would do just in our stick work stuff. Our shooting drills, especially, because we ran the read and react drill that was on one of your live trainings.
DK, that was Brian Kelly.
Yeah, Brian Kelly's offense, and that was our base offense this year, and it was phenomenal. Just very difficult to scout, and we probably scored 80% of our goals without even dodging, just with the draft cut, because the second slide would go in, as that ball looks like it's going down the alley, and then that would be the guy who's drafting over, and he was always in poor position, and we just would score time and time after that. Teams ended up zoning us because they couldn't cover it, and even against the zone it worked great. But all the shooting drills that built into that offense, that was, our offense was doing that for an hour a day at least. The crank passing we did every day, 10-15 minutes, and it made our ball movement so much better. Just our ability to handle passes that were coming, hard, and being able to throw accurate passes. So those, we kind of, every time we wanted to change up practice, we would go to those drills, the skill session drills, and those little videos, and we would pull out 3 or 4, change them up a little bit, just to keep the practice from being so routine. And, having that sort of like toolbox that we can just go to and say, hey, we need to work on this type of shooting. Let's go in, and we would look through the videos, pull one out, sometimes show the kids what we're looking to do, and then go out and use it. And it was, again, it's a huge difference in our skills this year.
It's awesome.
We even had some alumni come back and like, man, we never moved the ball like that. And,
it's amazing, actually. Crank passing can almost single-handedly do it for you. I mean,
I'm doing it now with my son's travel team, because we're finding that, as we're playing, he's in 7th grade, he's a 24, and those kids they're starting to pass like that. Yeah. And some of the other teams that we are playing who have some reclasses that are a little bit older, the way that they're banging the ball around, it's just we have to get to that level. So now we're doing it 10-15 minutes every day before they start their practice. And it's starting to improve. The first thing they find out is that some of their sticks they can't throw with.
Yeah. And, that's probably the biggest key to crank passing, is that if your stick sucks, you can't actually do it.
Right.
You'll hit somebody.
These kids are pretty high level too, and it's frustrating them. But I'm like, if you can't do this now, you're not gonna be able to do it, when you're in high school, when you're gonna have to be able to do it. And so they're buying into that too. I think it's showing, when we play these other teams, how well we can move the ball. If they can handle balls like that.
Cool. It's, for me, learning the game, sharing the game, talking about it. There's always something to be learned. Like you could already. It's like that John Wooden quote. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts.
Right.
Here you are, multi-year All-American at Hopkins, Hall of Famer, and you're looking at your defense and being like, I want to add to it, and I think that just speaks a lot to your commitment, but also to the facts that there's just so much more to learn, and there always is.
Yeah, and it's me and my assistant they make fun of us at school because we actually work in the same office, in the science office, and during lacrosse season, it's like we're always watching film. And they're like, when do you guys teach? we're complete, we watch more lacrosse probably than many, probably similarly to you.
Yeah.
any video we can get our hands on, and Twitter's been a big help with that too. Just seeing what guys are tweeting out, and Deemer Class does some great stuff. So we've been just constantly doing that, and we love talking about it. I mean, it's always a conversation in our office.
Yeah.
So that's big. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm done coaching. That's the way I see it. If I'm not interested in watching this stuff and learning new stuff, then it's time to hang it up. That's kind of been my philosophy with coaching.
No doubt. And now you got summer and fall coming up. Now you can really dig in.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there.
Once my varsity season ends, this year is the World Series year for my son, because he's that age bracket. So we're gonna be out in Denver in a couple weeks. But it almost feels like it gets more busy because we're traveling all over the place, and he plays with the Express, so we travel everywhere from Maryland to Massachusetts, and it's a lot of travel, but I'm still learning more and more even from that level, how to coach kids of that age, which is much different than coaching the kids in high school. But it's been fun. Definitely been fun.
Cool.
I actually got an opportunity to coach next, it was about a week and a half, the Under Armour All-American senior team. So I'm coaching the South team this year. So we got a group of Hopkins guys coaching the South, and then Dom Finn and Charlie Lockwood, they're coaching the North team. So we're doing a little Hopkins Syracuse thing, which should be pretty awesome. So it's gonna be fun to coach kids of that level. I've never, I haven't coached a full team of kids like that. I've had players who were at that level, but not that many. Just to be able to see what they can do, it'll be fun.
That's good. I'm glad they're kind of committing to getting coaches in there, because I feel like in the past that game is really cool, but it was just, and I know it's supposed to be fun and stuff, but I think getting a little bit of team play is going to make it a better game than when it's totally individual.
Yeah, where they just run up and down, and it's run and gun type stuff. But hopefully you'll see a little bit of two-man game, things like that. I love that just from coaching box. It's been such a game changer, seeing those things and how it can open up an offense. I love that whole thing. If I can coach just box, I would. I enjoy coaching that probably more than field.
I'm going to have I'm going to get a ton more box content in the CTP, by the way. I'm in Canada right now, and I'm filming a ton of it. So, so stand by for that. And my last question for you is there anything, I could add in there that you'd like to see in there? There's so much on there. It's almost overwhelming. Yeah.
That I don't think I've sat there been like, man, I wish we could have this or something like that. Because I'm still kind of working through a lot of it, because there is a lot of information. I think we do bring in a lot of the college coaches for in terms of you did that tour where you brought in a lot of their drills for practice. That was awesome. Seeing what they did, on a day-to-day practice plan, and then watching them run the drills. That was great. I wonder if there's a way, maybe at the high school level, to see what some coaches are doing.
That'd be cool.
Because sometimes the college game, if you're not at a high level school where you can run maybe some of those drills, how are the high school coaches kind of tweaking them so that they fit their level? Stuff. I think that would be great. The youth level content, that I did take a lot from that. That would probably be the only area where maybe we can, you can expand it, and then because that would open up a whole nother, I think, open up a whole set of doors in terms of youth coaches, because I know my youth coaches are always asking me for stuff. And
there's a lot more youth content coming too. I've filmed it all, and it's being edited now. I've got awesome youth content. So,
okay, yeah, because that would be the first thing that I would send right to them. It would be that, because I can give them. They usually ask me for my practice plans, but they don't know, what the drill names mean and what they're how they're supposed to be run and stuff like that. Whereas I think the video content would be huge for them.
For sure. And there's less to do for youth. I mean, there's you can't do as many things with youth if they can't throw and catch. And so it is, which is good, because the youth coaches, they don't need more information. They just need to be able to get enough information to do a great job and be able to develop the kids.
Especially at the stick skills. And that's the thing I've always focused. They always ask me, and I'm like, they're like, what do you want when they come up? I'm like, them to be able to throw and catch at a high level. I don't care. I'll teach them all the other stuff that they need to know, but that's the biggest thing. And I think they find practices get stagnant if they just do stick work. It's boring to coach, but I keep telling them but that's what's going to make them great. And
there's a lot of ways to make it fun, though. You remember the keep away presentation I did?
Yep.
Keep away might be the best thing to do with kids that as they are learning how to throw and catch, to be able to make it realistic, to keep it fun, to make it competitive, to be able to work on all of the, you can literally teach every skill. There's a lot of, if you recall, there was probably 10 or 15 different keep away versions that are pretty awesome. I did them with my girls.
We did the 3v2 and the 4v3 a lot. Keep away. Just because it was able to give us more groups and more touches, and then we incorporated a lot of the pass and pick away, pass and pick for, and we started to bring that piece into it, because we did a lot of. We actually had a part of our offense in that read and react is, instead of passing down and cutting the paint, we would go and we called it Albany, where you would come down and the guy cutting the paint would then come out and set the pick for the wing. And we used a lot of that in that 3-on-2, 4-on-3 version of the passing drills, so that they can see how it would work in tight spaces. But those are things.
Decision making. I feel like one of the biggest problems that most coaches have with their drills is that there's no decision making involved. I mean, doing a little crank passing is great, but eventually you want to have defenders out there and somebody guarding you and defenders guarding off the ball. And, it's the decision-making that is so critical, because it's almost like a different skill from adding decisions being made as to when to throw it or how to manipulate a defender.
Yeah, we did that. We then basically the next step, we put out 5 offensive guys basically in a 13 set with no crease. And then we would put in 4 defenders, and they were in a set, and we just called it skip passing, and it was basically crank passing, but in an offense.
Passing, keep away.
Yep. And it was our man up offense got so much better, just because their ability to skip the ball through lanes, with hard passes, and they had to make decisions. And then the next step, because they were getting annoyed because they couldn't shoot. I wouldn't allow them to shoot. And then the next step was, okay, you can shoot off of a skip pass. So now the defense really had to get out to their hands, and it made it more fun for the offense, because they could then, they have a goal now. Hey, if I can get a skip pass through, we can shoot. So it was something that we just made fun for them.
That's awesome. I love that. That's going right in. You got to send me a film on that one if you can.
Yeah. Next time we do that, I'll film it and send it.
Come on your phone and just text it over.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us about this. I'm glad that you found this helpful, and I'm just going to try to keep making it better. So let me know if there's ever anything that you have ideas that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep the girls content coming, because that's my wife is the head coach where we are too as well, and she's always looking for good girl stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing that actually. I filmed every practice that I coach. So I coach that.
Oh,
girl.
cool.
I filmed every practice. I've got a lot of content to add in on the girls side, so that'll be happening.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Awesome. Hey, Brian, have a great summer and enjoy yourself in Denver. Hopefully I'll bump into you one of these days.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, man. Have a good one.
See you, Jamie.
See you. Bye.